So you want me to start?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, welcome to the Foxstone Financial Wealth Matters Show. My name is Christian Ravsten. I'm the president and CEO of Foxstone Financial, and here with me is my father, Chris.
Chris Ravsten. I was a founder of Foxstone, and through succession planning and handing the reins off to my oldest son, Christian, and it's awesome to work with you, son. I know I tell you that all the time, but great for you to be here in the office teaching me what you are so good at.
Well, thank you. So this is our, I think, third show, and we thought we would do something a little different today and talk about who we are, some of our interests. Some
background.
Yeah, some background on what we like to do, and a little bit more about ourselves, so that you know that we have lives and we are interesting people. Because
we just don't sit here and stare into a microphone.
Yeah, and we don't wear suits and ties, and we're fun guys. So anyways, that's the point of the show today.
And then we'll talk about some horror stories that clients, not our clients, but people have experienced working with financial advisors across the country, and what our clients experience when they come in and work with us.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of this show throughout the weeks and the months, is that we want to bring fresh new material to you guys. We will have guest speakers. We'll have people in here with us, bringing new ideas, strategies, and it's not always going to relate around just investment planning and wealth management. It's going to be about wealth matters, about things that affect your life.
Everything that affects our lives.
Yep.
Because, face it, all of us have different interests. And if we just stayed specifically just to financial topics, that gets a little long in the tooth at times.
Right. We would be really, really stuffy.
But if...
And I'm not stuffy.
Not at all. Like a loose pillow. So if we have someone come in and talk about vehicles, cars, for example, we all buy cars.
Yeah.
And we've got a number of people that can help people buy cars so you don't have to hassle with dealers.
Yeah.
So we will bring guests in, and hopefully these shows will become more and more attractive to more and more people, because we're going to be touching on so many different topics.
Yeah, there'll be fun and interesting topics, and that's what the show. That's the way that we want the show to be.
And if you that listen would like to have us touch on certain topics, let us know. You can get in touch with us at foxstonefinancial.com.
Yeah, happy to do it. So I guess a little background on us, on me. I love anything outdoors. I love spending time with my family, and I love eating good food. And in fact, right here, I brought a video. This was a couple of years ago.
Wait a minute. You don't like eating tomatoes. That's good food.
No, it's not. I said good food.
Yeah, but you eat Brussels sprouts. That's not good food. That's like bad sweat socks.
No, actually, Brussels sprouts,
And I don't understand why they become so popular.
It's because they're really healthy, and they're actually very good.
No, they're good if you put something on them to hide the flavor.
No. If you just...
When you walk into somebody's house that's cooking Brussels sprouts, you think, who threw up in the kitchen? They're nasty.
Actually, when I smell tomatoes, that's what I think.
When you smell a tomato?
Yeah, when people are cutting
pizza,
tomatoes.
Spaghetti sauce? You love your mother's spaghetti sauce.
You can't even tell me that a pizza is a tomato. That's like...
That's got marinara sauce. It's made with tomatoes.
That's like hiding the flavor of a tomato behind meat and dough. Give me a break. No way.
So you like certain good foods?
I like really good food.
Okay. Healthy food.
I do like healthy food.
Which is why you can do what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so this is one of my passions, as I said, is being outdoors. And this is actually a couple of years ago. We were out at Chatfield Reservoir, early morning ski run. And this is me skiing behind a boat that I used to have. I sold it now because it doesn't fit the family. But I just love skiing. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do. And it's interesting for me to watch this because I critique myself and I can see what I'm doing wrong skiing. But
what are you doing wrong?
Well...
Because most people probably look at that and think, wow, he's got some pretty good balance and strong turns. What are you doing wrong?
I'm leaning back just a hair. Through my turn, I need to stay a little more balanced. But
bend your knees a little more to keep your upper body more over the middle of the ski? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, this is near the end of my run too, but
So you're getting a little
tired, but
exhausted.
still, it's. There I am. My buddy's flying the drone right there in the passenger seat. My other buddy's driving. So.
Isn't that cool that you can do that with
It's
technology
so
now?
freaking awesome. And I just love skiing. That sensation of just being able to cut on the water, slice across the wake, and just feel that ski carve and dig in. And
So you're skiing about 34 miles an hour right there, aren't you?
yeah.
And when you shoot across the wake, you're probably picking up to what, about 60, 65?
I don't even know. It probably, because you're going really, really fast. But it's just that sensation. I think
It's kind of slingshot across the water.
Yeah, it's just an amazing sensation to be pulled. And see, I got tired. So it's just an unbelievable sensation to be on the water.
That's a pretty good morning.
That's a phenomenal morning, especially
wind.
at Chatfield. No wind.
No boats, relatively no boats.
Yeah, and that hardly ever happens, especially at Chatfield. But I love to ski. Like I said, I've since sold that boat because
That was a sad day because that was a great boat.
it was a good boat. I bought that kind of for selfish reasons because I love to ski, but as you can see, it's a mid-mounted, or the engine is mounted in the middle of the boat, so it takes up essentially any space. But it's doing that so that the wake that you ski across is really flat
And soft.
and soft. So it's a direct drive boat. Now, my next boat to fit, I've got 3 kids, needs to be a V-drive boat where the engine is in the back of the boat, and it's more amenable to other activities like wakeboarding and wake surfing, and then bringing friends along, because that boat with the 3 of us was pretty crowded.
Yeah, it's
So-
hard to change your mind in there with everybody in it.
Yeah, but that boat that's a private lake boat, and I had it for a couple of years and loved it and babied it, and then I sold it. So I've got some other things here that I brought along as well. So pictures, some of my activities that I like. That's me and my son. Such a cool picture. We were out. This was actually a couple of years ago out in Utah. And we were skeet shooting, and my
It's
son,
Thanksgiving.
actually. Yep.
Yep.
And so my son wanted to shoot the gun, and so I said, "Yeah, let's go." And so we had a great time. Yeah, this was Thanksgiving a couple of years ago.
Good safety precaution there. He's got the earmuffs on to protect his ears.
Yeah, ear protection.
Yep.
The other thing that I like to do, love to go razoring. This was down in Moab. We had a big group of us last October, actually. This was fall break, and it was cold and rainy, but we made the best of it. And this is actually, right here is Hell's Gate. So you come up in this really tight canyon, and you can actually look up on YouTube Hell's Gate. But so we rode over there, and this was just the very start of our ride, and then we were gone for a couple hours, but it was cold and rainy, but I just love to razor. Moab is an amazing place, and I'm actually going there tomorrow to go mountain biking.
You know, I think we forget how lucky we are to live here in the Colorado area, and how within a 6-hour drive, we have so many options. And if you extend it to an 8-hour drive, we even have like Lake Powell,
Yeah.
which we have gone to ever since you were 5 years old.
Well, and I actually
summer.
have a picture of that too in here. So this is a picture of me mountain biking. I love to mountain bike. This was actually again in Utah a couple of years ago. Fun ride. That's Park City in the background. I'd love to mountain bike. Such good exercise, and it's fun to be outdoors, and
Ever-changing trail. You never know what you're going to run into.
so much fun. That's a picture of me and my family actually in Ouray, Colorado. If you've never been there, it's called the Switzerland of America. It's just
Gorgeous.
beautiful. I mean, these mountains, you wake up and they are massive, and they are right there at your doorstep.
Are they that way when you go to bed at night?
They are. Well, I don't know. You can't see them because it's so dark.
Well, I just wondered, when you wake up, they magically appear.
They do magically appear.
Well, they're huge. It
Magically
really, truly
delicious.
is gorgeous.
It's phenomenal. It's a fun place to be. Ouray's a little teeny town, but right over these mountains here, if you and we took our razors down there, and you can actually drive up these mountains, up Imogene Pass is what it's called, and it's a fun trail. and then you drop down the other side of Imogene Pass right into Telluride.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so Telluride is right on the other side of these mountains. But we went on a hike that day. Such a beautiful place to go. Telluride is close. Crested Butte is, from here, is only maybe an hour and a half. So it's not that far.
Yep.
But
another great place for playing in the summer and winter.
Yeah.
Great mountain biking, phenomenal skiing.
Yep.
Really laid back little town.
Mm-hmm.
Really beautiful, beautiful country. And then those are three of my favorite people standing by you.
Yeah. Yeah, your grandkids.
Yep.
Yeah, good kids. So this is
Moab again?
This is a picture actually right outside of Moab. You're pretty close to Moab, but this is a trail that we rode up on our dirt bikes and in our razors, and it's called Top of the World, and it really is the top of the world. The wind is crazy up there. I mean, it swirls. We were with some friends, and he dropped his dirt biking gloves, and the wind picked it up and then shot it back up about 20 feet past him back onto the rocks.
You're kidding.
No, it was really, really windy. It was so beautiful. It was warm, but it really is the top of the world. It is a great, phenomenal trip. Again, these are things that I love to do, go and experience the outdoors. So that was a really fun trail. And I love to dirt bike. My son and I go dirt biking, and then we got a razor. So
he's 8 years old now.
Yep.
He's had a dirt bike since he was 5?
5 or 6, yeah. He was on a Yamaha PW50, and now he's on a TTR 110. So still a centrifugal clutch, and he's learning how to shift. But it's a good next step bike.
Yep.
So speaking of Lake Powell, that was last summer.
One of our favorite places on earth.
Yep. And if you've never been, that's exactly what it looks like. You're in like Moab type of rocks and canyons, and
think of Grand Canyon filled full of water. A lot of water.
A ton of water. And actually, one thing that people don't know about Lake Powell is it has more shoreline than California.
Yeah, from Washington, actually Seattle down to the Baja, 1,940 miles of shoreline.
So it's a massive lake, and people don't know that.
And gorgeous.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Every turn you make, and there's a lot of turns, everything looks different. It's just one of the most magical places on earth. And really, since we've been houseboating down there since you were about 7, I believe, is when we got our first houseboat. That has not only become our family's best vacation, but now our grandkids' very best vacation.
Oh, yeah. My kids just love that. They eat that stuff up. I mean, you're basically camping right on the water. That's what you're doing. And
in a very comfortable houseboat.
Yeah, I mean, it's got AC, and it makes ice, and
purifies its own water.
We get to do early morning ski runs and afternoon ski runs and evening ski runs and swimming, and it's really the best of both worlds in terms of being away from people, because we do try and get away from folks. We don't even have self-service where we go.
Yeah.
And so you really just get to spend a lot of time with family, play lots of games, swim in the water, and
play card games at night.
Yep, eat good food. It's a blast. So we love.
This is one of the best ways to spend time as a family, because you are with each other.
Yeah.
You're not distracted by cell phones, and although we have satellite TV on the boat, we never turn it on because we want to spend time with each other.
Yep.
And it is a wonderful place to make family memories.
It's pretty amazing. And it's warm, and the water's warm. I mean, the average temperature when we go is mid 90s to low 100s, and the water feels great. You jump in, and
84 degrees.
Yeah, it's just so nice.
Evenings are
beautiful.
You sleep out on top of that deck there and stare at the stars. When you go to bed, it's a little warm, usually low 90s, high 80s.
Yep.
So you just fall asleep on your sleeping bag. You don't have to lay in it. But you wake up 3 or 4 in the morning, and the sky looks completely different than anything you've ever seen in Denver because of all the light pollution here.
Yeah.
Out there, there's no lights.
It's pitch black. And, I mean, really, the only light pollution that you can say you're having is
the moon.
The moon.
That's right.
That's it. And the moon is intense there. When we have full moons, I mean, it illuminates all the rocks, and
You can go out and water ski at midnight.
yeah, it's beautiful. But when the moon isn't out and it's pitch black, I mean, you have never seen a sky so dark and so many stars, and
Yeah.
it's just amazing. It's so much fun. So yeah, I put this picture in there because, again, this is something that we all love to do. So
Well, you know what these pictures symbolizes is you living.
yeah,
You living your dreams and exposing your kids to fun activities, but being together as a family, which is at the center point of your whole reason for existence.
yeah, that's
Being a husband, being a father.
I love doing that, and I love exposing my kids, to your point, to new things, new activities, spending time with them, spending time outdoors. And that's part of the reason why I love living in Colorado and having Utah so close, is there's so many cool things to do.
Well, you came by it naturally. That's the way your mother and I raised you guys. Same thing. We didn't own a razor at the time. They weren't around. And we didn't own motorcycles, but we certainly did biking and water skiing, snow skiing together. You were so involved in soccer growing up that we didn't, for a period of 4 or 5 years, we never spent a holiday in the house. It was always on the side of a soccer field. But, these are things that you do as a family to support each other and to have a well-rounded and connected family. And it's one of the great blessings of being connected as a family, and we still are today. Your brother could be here with his 3 kids.
Doing the same stuff.
Doing a lot of the same stuff. Your sister and her husband and 2 kids, they do the same thing. These Spartan races and triathlons and so forth. So it's fun to be connected like that and have the same interests. But again, you came by it pretty honestly.
Yeah, so these are activities that I love to do.
This is you and your wife after having finished a Spartan race?
Yeah, last August. We did that one in Utah, actually. That was brutal.
She kicked your butt, didn't she?
No, she didn't.
I think she did.
No way. We all finished it together.
She trashes you just about at everything she does.
She is very athletic.
And competitive.
She's very strong. She's a great woman. So, yeah, these are things that we love to do. And so the whole point of this is to show that, we don't just sit in an office, stuffy, boring individuals. We love to go out, experience activities. The one thing that I don't have in here, and you mentioned it, is
golf.
Yeah, and there's no golf, and no skiing.
There's no golf?
No golf.
There's no pictures of you and your father golfing? Oh. I'm so crushed. Yeah. I won't play with the old man much anymore.
Funny.
Yeah. Can't get your heart rate above 80 on golf, so why go do golf, huh?
Yeah. I didn't actually even think about putting a picture of golf in there.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even put a picture in there of skiing either. So my family and I love to ski and snowboard. But yeah, no golf.
Ripping my heart out and standing on it.
I know that's what you love to do.
Well, that and eat ice cream. That's my second favorite athletic endeavor.
I just heard that there was a really good custard place. Who was telling me? Oh, one of our friends, Brett.
Yeah?
He was telling us.
Custard?
Yeah, really good custard place.
Here in Denver someplace?
Yeah. Really close.
Have to search that out. It's funny how many people die at athletic events. You see ambulances pull up all the time to
Ironman.
And workout facilities, so forth. But you never see an ambulance at a Baskin Robbins.
That's because they ate Baskin Robbins for too long and then tried to work out.
Ice cream. No one dies in an ice cream parlor. That's my theory.
Yeah.
That's just one of life's great opportunities, and who knows on the next life if we'll be able to do that. But it's a mortal experience as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you do love ice cream a lot. Anyways, I'll find out the name of that custard place. I wish I could remember right now. I thought he said it was off of Broadway, and it's coming to me now. He says it's off of Broadway and Dry Creek.
Oh, okay.
And all they do is just serve custard. So there's that place in Utah, Nielsens Custard. That's in St. George.
Is it called Andy's?
I don't know, remember what he said. He just said all they do is serve custard, and it's really, really good.
It might be Andy's because it's kind of looks like an old-time drive-through.
Yep.
And I think it's Andy's.
Oh.
I drove by it yesterday, and I believe that's it.
That's probably
because it is by.
And he's a ice cream connoisseur too.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that's what you have in common with him. And you like golf, and he likes raised ring. But anyway, so that's about me. We aren't stuffy individuals. We love to go out and dream and live lives, and that's the reason that I'm bringing that up is that's what we want for our clients. And this isn't me to brag about anything. That just says I love to do lots of things. I love to be outdoors. Golfing is in there. I do get a little more frustrated at golf, but
such a perfectionist.
I am a perfectionist, but I guess the point is that we want those same exact things for our clients.
Yep.
The same exact things that we want them to go out and enjoy life and be able to dream and accomplish their dreams.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Instead of riding razors, maybe you ride horses. Or maybe you're big into tennis, which you play tennis and are very good at it. It's taking a look at yourself and saying, what is it I really like to do? What makes me happy? What makes me feel fulfilled?
Yep.
And then finding a way to work that into your life and taking the time to do that. And that makes life worth living.
Yeah, and I would say, that's going to bleed into kind of the success story that we wanted to share with you guys. But I would say first, let's talk about some horror stories that we've come across lately that we've read and that we've actually had people come into our office. And, we scratch our heads at what people tell us.
How they're treated by other financial firms.
It's phenomenal. It's really bad. It's bad. It's appalling. So anyways, let's share a couple stories from people coming in and talking to us and
about their experience with other firms. And there's actually an industry magazine that comes out, and some of these stories are in these magazines saying this is how financial advisors are actually treating other people. And it's no wonder that by and large, the financial services industry has fallen way down in terms of credibility and confidence, trustworthiness. Yeah. And some of these stories make it pretty well known and define that. But most of the financial advisors that we know are really good people.
Yeah.
And they're honest in their intentions. But unfortunately, it's the old bad apple ruins the whole bushel. But one of them was one of the stories, and I'm sure those of you that are listening have your own stories. I've heard of some of these, but this older couple worked real hard to put away as much money as they could. They were getting ready for retirement. They took the money in and sat down with this financial advisor at what was, they thought, a large, well-respected firm. Well, and the guy took about 10 minutes to talk to him and then started pushing him into a product. And they felt so pressured and browbeaten that they finally consented, signed the paperwork just so they could get out of there, and left. And it was one of the worst things that they could have gotten into. And when they went to see another advisor who was a fiduciary a couple of years later, and he pointed out what kind of product they were in and the limitations that it had and how it did not solve their purpose and what they wanted to do with their retirement income, they were very frustrated, and it's painful. And a lot of people experience this.
Yeah.
They're slammed into a product, or they're pigeonholed into something that satisfies that particular firm's interest. Like if you go see an insurance company, chances are they're going to try and sell you an insurance product, whether it's, they're a hammer, you're a nail. And so that's what they're going to do. They're going to put you into something that's good for them. And I'm not saying that that's completely true all the time, but if you're working with a captive type of financial advisor that represents an insurance company, they're going to try and sell you their own cooking, whether it's the best product or not, or whether you should be in that product or not. And that's disconcerting. So we hear that all the time from people that come in And we have a lot of people that come in for a second opinion because we are a fiduciary firm. We're very objective. We're very honest. If someone is in a good plan, good investments, and a product that works for them or products that work for them, we tell them, don't change a thing. Stay on course. It's solving your problem. It's doing what you want it to do. But we see too many people that have been pushed into something that they didn't want, that's not good for them, and certainly does not fulfill their needs. And it's because the financial firm didn't stop to really get to know the people and say, how can I really, truly, objectively help these folks versus how much commission am I going to make? Or how is this going to fulfill my sales quota and that sort of thing?
I mean, think about it in terms of this. I mean, can you imagine hiring a financial advisor firm or hiring someone to help you with your investments is a big deal. Can you imagine if you met with a realtor and that realtor spent 10, 15 minutes with you and then just started pushing a house on you? Most people would be like,
without even asking, do you have kids? School's important.
Right.
Without asking any type of get-to-know-you question.
And we think about that and we're like, well, that's idiotic. I would never use that realtor. Well, then why do people, I don't understand why people think that it's, somehow different with financial advisors, because it's not, right? You need to work with someone that obviously knows their stuff and then has an honest interest in you.
Here's a great analogy. We work with a gentleman that represents an auto leasing company, and they don't care what car you want, what vehicle you want. He sits and listens to your interests. He talks about the different kinds of cars that can fit your interest and what you're looking for, goes through the options that you want and what kind of features you want on it, and then he'll lay out the different vehicles that match your criteria. And then he'll even bring those cars to you to let you drive them and see if that's really what you want. At the end of the day, you get to choose the one that suits you best in terms of payment, price, features, benefits, capabilities, etc., color. And that's objectivity. He makes $500, that's it, per car. And so that's really the way that we try and work with our clients is we sit and listen. Typically when somebody comes into our office, we're with them a half hour to 45 minutes before we ever talk about their finances. What we do is we get to know them.
Yeah. Well, that's important. Another horror story that reminds me about that is I had a gentleman that came in for a second appointment, and he knew that we were fiduciaries and wanted, again, look at this and tell me if this is the best option. And he's trying to do some financial planning, and really what it comes down to, college planning for his kids as well. And he'd gone to this college planning company, and all they did was just push him into...
that was a marketing concept.
Right. That's all it was. But all they did is suggest that he put a bunch of money into a life insurance policy. And...
I mean, why did they suggest that?
Well, because that's all they sell. So the interesting thing to me is they were talking about...
Well, there was a financial reason.
Right. Well, he was trying to qualify for FAFSA, but the problem is the way FAFSA...
Financial aid for his children.
Right, for school. But the problem is the way it works is that only the money that's been invested inside the policy, the way they had it structured, it was going to take him 12 years to put all the money into the policy, and by then his youngest kid's in college. So it doesn't even help his first
It didn't build
kids.
up enough equity to help his 3 kids.
Right. And so that just, had me scratching my head because they didn't even talk to him about anything else, any of his other retirement plans.
In defense of the firm, the reason they do that is because money sitting in a life insurance policy does not disqualify you for FAFSA.
It doesn't, but the thing is it could still be on the CSS profile for the school.
But to begin with, his income disqualified him for it. So what they were doing was serving their interest. It did no good for him, which is your point.
That was my point. The point is that the schools that their kids are going to also use the CSS profile. So the cash value inside the life insurance is still going to be a question that they ask on the application.
Right.
So it didn't really effectively do what he was trying to do. And so
it didn't do anything for him.
So those are some of the horror stories, right, that we've come across recently, and we'll share some others, in additional weeks. But the point is that that's not what we do, right?
Well, to your credit, what you did was spend a lot of time on the phone with him and sending emails back and forth to really ask him a lot of questions. Say, let's step back and let me get to know what you're trying to accomplish.
Yep.
And what are your financial goals? Of course, first and foremost, the reason he got a hold of you was to get your opinion on FAFSA and how he could qualify, his kids could qualify for financial aid so he didn't have to spend some of this inheritance money on it. Well, once you started asking questions, you found out a lot of facts that helped you establish some criteria and some points of education that you knew he wasn't going to qualify. And so his second most important consideration behind getting his kids qualified for education or financial aid is retirement. And so when you started putting a plan together for him and ran a retirement report, lo and behold, he has more than enough money to retire. And helping his kids get educated, you were able to solve that without hurting his retirement.
Yeah.
So because you stopped to listen and asked some very intelligent questions because you really wanted to help him and not just make a sale, he's now finding that you're somebody he can trust, and he asks you more and more questions so that he knows he can get a straight answer from you. And that's what we do. That's what we've always done.
Well, that's what I care about, right? Why we're in the business. We're in the business to help our clients, not to just make sales, but to have relationships and help our clients achieve their goals, right? I mean, that's why we're in the business.
Well, it's interesting that, the industry has put this fiduciary title out there.
Yep.
If you take a test, you're a fiduciary, and then if you set up your business a certain way so it's in the best interest of your client, everything that we do is now in the best interest of our client. That's the way we've always done business. We didn't need a test, and we didn't need the industry to tell us that that's how you treat people. I was raised, you were raised, that we treat people with respect and honesty. We're upfront in our business dealings with people, and then we treat them with that kind of respect. We listen to their needs, and then we help them solve their needs for their reasons, not for our reasons. Zig Ziglar, who was a great salesperson in the right way and the right reasons.
Didn't he work for Chrysler when Chrysler was still around?
Zig Ziglar? No, he was in the insurance industry.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Who was the big Chrysler? Who was the... Yeah, anyways, I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyway, Zig said, I was listening to him in Denver one day, and he was talking. He had kind of this southern accent, kind of like a southern preacher. But he got down on one knee and he said, let me tell you the secret. If you help enough other people be successful at getting what they want, you'll get what you want. But you put them first. And that was early in my career. And again, that's the way I was raised. My parents instilled that within me. And then as I went through scouting, got my Eagle Scout, and you got your Eagle Scout, and your brother got his Eagle Scout. I mean, that's what we learn. That's who we are as people. But I've never forgotten that. And that's always been first and foremost, that we help people get what they want, and we're taken care of. We enjoy a healthy practice. We have lifelong relationships with our clients that have been with us for many, many, many years, 20 to 25 years. And I had somebody come in the other day, and I told her, I said, Janice, I love you. You're like a cousin to me, and I just appreciate our relationship. And she said, well, are you going to retire? And I said, no, I have no intention of retiring, because I cannot replace this relationship with my clients in my life. There's nothing else that does it.
Right, because golf doesn't do it, by the way.
It does it on some days, usually Wednesdays.
Hardly not.
On Wednesdays, it really helps.
I mean...
especially when you hit one straight perfectly.
As they say, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And
Arnold Palmer said one of the most beautiful things in life is to see a well-hit ball in flight. And I got to say that is absolutely true.
I don't know if I believe that.
Well, Arnie said it, and he was pretty intelligent. So anyway...
there's a lot of new things that have come around, though.
Janice told me she said...
are way more beautiful than that.
She wrote me an email after our appointment and said, it feels like coming home when I come into your office. I have never been treated with so much love and respect. And she said, not only am I living my dreams, but I get to fly business class. I drive a new car. I am living in a way that I never thought possible, and it's because of how you folks have helped me plan my future, manage my money, but listen to my needs. And she's a wonderful person, but that's just one example. Another quick example is a lady came in the other day that we've been working with for
a long time.
Yeah, about 11 years. And she came in and she said, I'm 64. I've had it, Chris. I've just had it. I'm burned out. I want to retire.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to be able to work a couple more years, at least till I'm 65 and get full retirement from Social Security. But she said, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. She's a nurse and she's just fried. She said, I want to work in a canine rescue shelter, and I want to do quilting and some other things with my life. But she said, I've been putting this off for a year because I know what you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me I can't retire. And she said, I'm really afraid. In fact, I'm very nervous about even being here because I know the news is going to be bad. So we went through, I asked her, we spent some time going through what her day-to-day life is going to look like, ideally, when she retires. And she said,
that's the important thing, right? It's not just being able to retire. I mean, we always see those commercials, we see commercials on the TV or we hear them on the radio where, you have to have X amount of dollars to retire.
$1 million.
Right. And I remember seeing that ING commercial with like the people carrying around those orange numbers.
Yeah.
And it was the value of their 401k or their IRA.
Right.
And it's just like, to me, it was very misleading, right? Because then people thought, like this client.
That's exactly what she thought.
I don't have $1 million, so I can never retire.
That's exactly what she told me. She said, I don't have $1 million, so I know there's no way I can retire.
Right.
And I said, well, you need $1 million if you've made a lot more money than you've made, or if you want to live on a lot more money than you want to live off of. But that's not realistic compared to your income and your husband's income.
Well, not only that, but their lifestyle.
Exactly. So the long and short of it is, I listened to her. We laid out what her life is going to look like. We put a budget to that.
Yep.
And including health care, Medicare, supplement, et cetera, et cetera. And I put it into our software, and the software said that she should start taking Social Security at 64, so it didn't conflict with what she thought she was going to do. And lo and behold, she's going to be able to retire and take home $150 a month more than she's taking home right now working full-time. She started crying. Now, this is not an uncommon thing. A lot of people start weeping when they realize they really get to do what they want to do with their life. They're overcome with emotion. Because face it, all of us work so hard in sacrifice and save and put off things that we want in order for the long term and to have a stable retirement and not outlive our income. She said, I could just kiss you right now. She said, I am so relieved. I'm so happy. I just knew you were going to tell me there was just no way in hell I was going to be able to retire. And I said, well, we hear that a lot. And Christian, I think the saddest thing is that people walk around right now not knowing if they can hit their goals or not. Not knowing is one of the worst things out there. It's such an emotional indifference.
Yeah.
And it's
well, it's not knowing and not having any confidence in any type of plan that you have.
Right.
So even if you potentially may have an idea, but whether or not you know that a plan could work, that's just as bad, right? I mean, it's almost like, you've got your retirement built on a house of cards.
Right.
The wind comes and all of a sudden now you can't retire, and
Wouldn't you really rather know?
Yeah.
If you know you need to save another $150 a month, or if you know you need to get a 7.5% return instead of a 6% return, wouldn't you rather know that? Or know that you could put off your retirement a year and a half and you'll be fine?
Yeah, or vice versa, that all you need in your retirement to live the life you want is a 6 or 6.5% return, so you don't have to be pushing risk to, achieve these 8, 9, 10, 11, 12% returns.
Bingo.
I mean, that's...
Which a lot of people think they have to get.
Right. And if your retirement is if your plan is going to provide you the right type of lifestyle that you want at a 7% return, which means you have to take a little bit less risk than you do at 8 or 9%, that provides a lot of comfort.
That's right.
Because the market bounces up and down. So the point from all of this that we want to tell you is that, we love our clients. We are very much tied to them living the dreams that they want, having the lifestyle that they want and they deserve. And that's who we are. That's what we do. That's why we're in business.
Well, if you want to be treated with respect, if you want to talk and be heard, if you want to open up and bring your subjective feelings, your true feelings out, a lot of people they'll come in and at the start of the conversation they'll slide their statements across the table at me and say, okay, here's where I'm at financially. How am I? I'll slide them back over to them and say, hang on to those. We need to get to know each other. And as I said, we'll spend 30 to 40 minutes talking and getting to know each other. And we listen so that we understand who these people are. Wake up, son. And then once we understand who they are, then we're in a position to make recommendations.
Yeah.
There is so much stress in life about not knowing what's going to happen politically and what's going to happen to the future of the country. What are other countries going to do? Is there going to be a nuclear war in the future or a biological war? What's going to happen with the trade agreement? What's going to happen with the stock market? What's going to happen with our children's grades? What's going to happen with our family's health? There's so many unknowns in our life, and the stress builds and builds, and we see it. I think the manifestation of stress in our lives is the diseases that we get. It's the amount of money we spend on prescriptions now, especially antidepressants. One of the areas that you do not have to stress anymore is, where am I in relationship to my goals?
Yeah.
And if you want an experience that's truly objective, that where you're not going to be pushed into a product unless it absolutely fits your needs and fits your solution unequivocally, come in and see us.
Unequivocally. Thank you.
Okay.
I was wondering.
There is no B in there.
I thought you just made up a new word.
Well, I did.
Like supposedly.
Yeah.
People say it with a B.
Literally, like your mother-in-law?
Literally.
Yeah.
That's how the English say it, though, so it has to
How
be
about
right.
ambience? I've got people that say ambulance like ambience. What the hell is an ambience?
You know what? I'm just saying it like the English say it. Literally.
Literally. Okay. We'll try that with an accent.
I can't.
Literally is the way it's done.
I can't do that.
Okay. So,
anyways, the point of the show is that we love our clients. We're normal people. We have lives. We like to dream ourselves, and we like to help our clients achieve their dreams and help them live the lives that they want.
If that's important, if that's what you want, is somebody that's going to listen to you and help guide your future, your financial future, to a point where it'll solve your dreams and help you live the life you want, come and see us. You deserve to live the life you truly desire to live.
Yep. So we're Foxstone Financial. This is the Wealth Matters Show. Find us online at foxstonefinancial.com. Be happy to give you free second opinions on where you're at, and if there's anything that you could do to potentially right your ship, right your retirement ship. Again, in the future, what we're going to be doing is bringing guests on, estate planners, tax planners, reverse mortgage folks. Talk to us about that.
Next show, we're going to have a guest on that's going to help really explain this machine learning, the technology behind our investment process, our artificial intelligence software. And we did talk about it in the first show, but it's going to be good to have him on. And I mean, he's part owner of the company, so it's going to be good to have him here and get his. That's powerful stuff. We are so blessed to have it. So stay tuned for future episodes. We're going to have some really cool guests on here. And again, things that affect your wealth. That's why we call it Wealth Matters. Thanks for listening. Tuning in. See ya.